right? Then I think quant should come. Reasoning will do it at the later stage because that is for 60 marks will be there and 45 minutes will be there. So with respect to quant, the cutoff was 4.5. Even the year before that, it was around 5, 5 to 5, 5.5. So these cutoffs are really low. If you see, if you can do at least 10 questions, I think you'll be on the safer side. Even if you do three questions wrong, you can be just there at the cutoff around 5.756. In this paper, this qualifying, consider it as a qualifying paper only, but you just have to give at least 5 to 6 marks, right? Because if you try to focus, the questions level is approximately equal to the CAT level. Matlab, nothing to be feared of, but it is something like it is a portion where 25 minutes will not be enough. For these 30 questions, you will be only given 25 minutes. And within those 25 questions, 30 questions, 20 will be difficult, very difficult. So we need to focus on those 10 questions. And here the role of mock tests will be really crucial. So for those to 10 to 12 questions only, you have to really prepare well. And since we know that previous year questions will be there will be subtypes of the questions on what kind of quant questions are coming. So I would not suggest you that you go for, okay, very difficult question, you will only get 1 marks then only, right? Even for the easiest of the questions, 1 or 2 questions will be moderate. So you can get one marks there also. But even if you solve the difficult question in 5 minutes, it won't help you much. Rather, I will help you that in terms of question marking, you see those 30 questions right away, just there. So it will be a 3 to 4 minutes exercise, and you will be knowing, okay, what kind of questions I can do. So maybe you are good with let's say speed questions, right? Time, speed questions, distance questions. So you know, okay, there are 2 to 3 questions are there, and I will be putting my time to those 2 3 questions. So in that way, you need to strategize because since the time is very less, right? So even here, if we can do 12 questions properly, I'm not assuming that like accuracy is 70%, 75% because of the exam pressure. So even if we can do 8 there correctly, you can easily get 7 marks. This is like one of the difficult portions. So that's why I'm not telling you that you can get 30 marks out of that because it is not that easy. And since the time is really less, so you can do that. With respect to quant, I would say, first of all, you need to improve your concepts if they are not already. So first focus on concepts, right? Based on those concepts only, since you have already gone through those previous year questions, find out what are the themes of it, from what kind of questions they are asking more of the questions, like time, speed, and distance will be there. Then arithmetic uh, tables will be there, right? Series will be there. Uh, Quadratic arithmetics will also be there a little bit. So there will be some easy grabs also. Like low hanging fruits will also be there. You can easily do 5 to 6 questions. I can guarantee you in quant, if you do decently well enough, if PYQs will be there and you will be studying thematically, so you will be easily getting 5 to 6 marks anyhow. But just don't be focused too much about that I should get 30 marks because that will be really difficult since already 2 lakh, around 2 lakh people are giving this exam. So quant, I think for all the bankers, it will be easier. It should be easier. But anyway, they are also not getting these sectional cutoffs for quant also, since the question levels are very difficult. So I would request that focus on 10 to 12 marks. That's it. Now coming to the reasoning. Any questions with respect to quant?
I think since these are all people prepared well for CSAT, I think Quant will be difficult, I
Yeah,
think, but not
yeah,
that difficult because
yeah.
the level of CSAT has definitely gone up in the past 3 years for UPSC as well. But I think for Quant, I think it's all about picking the right questions. If you choose a wrong question, I think if you spend too much time on that, like how it happens in CSAT, you will be running out of time. So
Correct, sir.
I think you should this thing. Yes, just one query. Like, let's say English is for 30 marks and quant is for 30 marks. And you told 25 minutes, right? 25
Yeah,
minutes for that.
yeah.
Like,
25
let's say I
minutes for
finish
both.
English. Let's say I finish English in 15 minutes. Will I be able to go to the next section or I have to spend there?
As far as I remember, I don't think that these time divisions can be changed. No, they have to be
It's
performed within those times. And even if you do it early,
okay.
it the
It's
clock will be
nothing. It doesn't matter.
different.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
It is
so there is
very
nothing like, okay,
strictly
English I'll just finish in 10 minutes and then
15
invest.
minutes in. Yeah. No,
Not fair,
I
yeah.
don't think that is allowed. It is not allowed. Earlier, even before
Okay, that
2020,
okay,
they changed the time. There was no timeline earlier, as far as I remember.
okay,
In 20, so
okay,
they changed it to make it more difficult. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. There are a couple of questions. Yash, I'll take you answer it. Since the question
Yeah.
papers, Ajay asks, since the question papers and answer keys are not made available, we have no idea with respect to which option might be the most probable one. So, does the option B strategy work here as well? First of all,
I
Ajay, it
would.
doesn't work too much in UPSC also. That's a very big myth that it works. But yeah, what's your take on this, Yash?
I would say, why would you want to choose such a strategy? Like, it should not even should be a C or D strategy also. Like your
Yeah.
strategy is your UPSC exam. You're going for B strategy for RBI Grade B exam. So don't put those C, D, E kind of strategy here, because since you are all are sincere people here, you all are working hard, to make the name for your family, for yourselves in the services, to do good social service, right? So I would recommend you focus on the hard work that you can put into. That may work for one or two questions, but I am not very certain that the RBI people will not be knowing these, that B thing will work or B should not work. But even in that case, if you're in a very crunch situation, you can put B or C, whatever you feel like. Uh,
I get it. All right. And what is the probable cutoff for quantitative aptitude?
it
People
is
have asked.
4.5 last time. In my
Okay.
at my it was 5.5. So it will be
So
somewhere
anything
there.
above
One,
5.5 should be safe.
yeah. So
Anything
there's a
above
negative marking.
5.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So since negative marking is there, so be sure you can do 9 to 10 questions. So at least two to goes wrong. At least you will have
Okay.
5.56 question will be there. Yeah.
And
Take it as one
I
year
just
qualifying
yeah.
paper.
Okay. And the like prelims of UPSC phase one is not taken for phase two, right? For the marks
Yeah.
that you scored. Okay. You just have
Yeah.
to qualify.
Yeah. Marks are not carried forward to the
Okay.
mains preparation.
All right, good. And do we need to dedicate full time for RBI preparation, sir, as we are preparing for UPSC 2025? What's your
I
take,
would say
Yash?
keep your eye on the biggest prize.
Yeah,
But you may eventually give 2 hours. I think that should be enough for a civil servant aspirant, since they have very good aptitude towards understanding the economy and all these things. So phase two preparation is already going on with your civil services. With respect to prelims strategy, since the exam is on September, I think 8th, if I'm not sure, if I'm not wrong. So I think 2 to 3 hours you can give. Better if you can create little bit of groups, so that you may track down each other, or whenever you are at a very confusing state, whether should I give this RB exam or not, or should I prepare. At least if you 2 3 people will be there, so you will be going through these things easily, much better, I will say. So prepare 2 to 3 hours should be sufficient. Not more than that. I think you should focus firstly on civils exams. But 2 3 hours right now you can give, so that you can complete 5 to 6 months of current affairs, and whatever wherever your concepts are not that strong, you can actually make them stronger. And I won't think that more than 3 hours is required as of now. Once the exam is near, you may increase the time.
yeah, I think that is a wise strategy. You can start off with 3 hours, and I think having a couple of friends will help. You can divide and conquer there, right?
Yeah.
And given the fact that you just gave your prelims last month, you will be little bit well versed with current affairs as well. You can further substantiate it, consolidate it, and dividing and conquering with a group, with a like-minded friend groups will be very good. And as and when, as Yash told, and I confirmed here, exam is on September 8th indeed. So you have at least 2 months now, 2 months and more for the exam. So as and when the September approaches, from 3 hours you can increase to 4, 5, 6 hours, and last 10 days you can study exclusively for RBI. I think that will be a wise strategy time wise, right, Ash?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Okay, Ash. We'll go to the next section and finally take the doubts. Yeah.
Yeah. So for reasoning, I think this is also one of the most difficult sections. So the last time I will say, it comprises of 16 marks, and the cutoff was around 9 marks overall, sectional cutoff of the 54.25. So you can clearly see the weightage is maximum for general awareness. Then I think you can get the maximum in English. Then these two things are there. So even if you can just cross the cutoffs here and you do perform well in GA and English, I think that should be it. So for reasoning in quant, don't take too much of pressure. I will recommend. For quant, I know even if you give 1 hour to it for the next 30-35 days, at least you will be completing the concepts and you will be able to solve at least the moderate level of questions there within the time frame. With respect to reasoning, I will suggest, since there will be questions from PYQs, see the PYQs, know what kind of questions will be there. For example, there will be questions on blood, like blood relations, right? There will be questions on puzzles. So these kinds of questions, you may also enjoy these kinds of questions. So for these, I will recommend you do clear your concepts first, how to actually reason out these questions, because since these questions sometimes are made in such a way that your time gets wasted. So since we already saw that out of 60 marks, 9 is the cutoff. So I am assuming only 1/6 of the, even if we complete 1/6 of the paper thoroughly, then also we can clear the cutoff. But at least since there are 60 marks, we will be thinking that, okay, we should get maximum marks out of it. So 45 minutes are there. So I am assuming the questions will be long. The questions will be really long. Even for one question, it may take 1 to 2 minutes to actually understand the question. Okay, in what way I can actually go about it. So 3 to 4 minutes or 5 minutes it will take for you to get 1 marks. Eventually, I'm talking about the number, like 9 numbers are there, 9 marks are there. So if I am assuming we can at least get 12 to 15 marks given the difficulty of exam. So for every 1 marks, you should just devote 4 minutes, right? Maximum of it. You may get more marks also reasoning. So in reasoning, but I will say that there are many YouTube channels with respect to puzzles. So in RBI, there will be 2, 3 difficult puzzles at the level of CAT, and they will be having previous year questions analysis also. So in those analysis only, they might have solved these puzzles. You take those puzzles, they will be around 30 to 40 puzzles overall. Even if you can do one thing, that SBI mains exam is also at the level of RBI prelims, this reasoning standard. So you can take SBI means reasoning questions because it will be very similar to RBI questions. So in that way, you will not be having any dearth of the questions that can come in your RBI preparation, and you will be having many number of questions that are similar or just almost exactly. Because one day before the exam, I remember prelims, what happened was that I gone through these SBI mains exam, which happened just 1 or 2 months ago, and the similar set of questions came, similar set, not the exact ones, but okay, in what way the reasoning was there, so the similar questions came. So go through around the SBI mains exam. I think it is very simple. SBI mains you will be easily getting. IBPS PO mains exam. So there will be reasoning questions will be there. And because since reasoning is such that too much difficulty cannot be raised in terms of, since reasoning should be based on A to B, you can think, and then can you think to B to C. But in quant, there will be certain tricks will be there. So in reasoning, you will be having questions which you can actually solve. So I will say you do hard work here rather than on quant. So if you can get 20 marks, that will be the best thing here. But even if you can get 15 marks, like if you can solve 1 or 2 puzzles there, out of the there will be 3 puzzles approximately. So around 6 marks or 5 marks will be there. So 15 marks are there. So if you can solve 2 puzzles, 10 marks are already here. And then there will be 3 to 4 questions which will be easier, but it will be dispersed all along those 60 questions. So you have to skim through what you know and what you not know. Since 45 minutes is too much, you can think, but even one puzzle can take 15 minutes or 16 minutes also. So you should know that you can actually practice very well in this, and I think that could be done. For YouTube, I can tell that there is a YouTube recommendation. There is some Ankush Lamba. I got it from my friend. So he told that there's Ankush Lamba. He teaches this reasoning questions and all. So what we can do the PYQs, get the themes, what kind of questions are coming, puzzles, blood relations, other syllogisms kind of questions. Reverse syllogisms will also be there. And then we can look out for these similar questions in reasoning in this Ankush Lamba. I think he makes you solve the questions there itself. So I think it will really help if the concepts, if you want them to strengthen those concepts, and it will be very like I will say it should not be a very difficult ride, since YouTube channels are there and it may help you out. So any reasoning questions you can tell how you should approach any problems if you are facing, if any questions are there.
questions so far on the reasoning section?
Because there were two, three
Right?
people like who asked
Yeah.
about. I know it is a difficult thing.
Is the negative marking 1/3 or 1/4? One student
One
Paras
fourth,
asks.
one
1/4.
one fourth, one
Okay.
fourth. Yeah.
Okay. And any difference between UPSC current affairs and RBI Grade B current affairs, Yash?
It will be difficult, I would suggest, because
Okay.
there are other materials that will be there with respect to
Mm-hmm.
other regulatory exams also. Since
Okay.
RBI is one of the regulatory bodies, there will be other regulatory bodies also. And so they have similar kind of questions. So you may find it on, I found it on Affairs Cloud. There were many
Okay.
questions that came from those sources, and they are
Mm-hmm.
verified sources, like they are good sources.
Okay.
So you may take those, around 40, 50, 60 pages
Okay.
monthly, just like material is there for monthly current
Mm-hmm.
affairs. It will also be around 140, 150 pages will also be there. But I think the more relevant things will be around 30 to 40 pages only. So you just have
Okay.
to read them 6 months, 40 pages, 240 to 50 pages. I think it can be easily covered by civil services aspirant. Or
Okay.
if not, then please do it twice or thrice. Yeah.
And how many questions should be attended in reasoning?
Reasoning, I would say maximum, I don't think you will be attending more than 25, 30
Okay.
questions. But if you can do 20, 25, it will be amazing. I think most of
Amazing.
the
Okay.
people will be around 15 plus 3 minus
Okay.
3. If not plus 3,
Okay.
but minus 3, 12 to 15 questions, I think. Yeah. So even
Okay.
if you can do that, because reasoning, you will be dead sure that, okay, what I'm thinking is right. So
Okay.
in that way, yeah.
All right. Just to recap here, phase one, general awareness and English are the low-hanging fruits, which will push you close to the overall cutoff. And
Correct,
whereas
sir.
quantitative aptitude and reasoning is where you have to just cross the sectional cutoff and try and move again, add further to your score. And that is, I think, that is very valid to have the right strategy, because if you do not focus on the low-hanging fruits in those sections, you may end up crossing the sectional cutoff, but not the overall cutoff per se, right? So
Definitely.
this thing, yeah. And there is one more doubt. Could you please suggest some important areas of interest subjects to concentrate in general awareness and quantitative aptitude? Key areas.
Okay. General awareness, mostly questions will be related to just we have in civil services, like economic policies. Recently, what things have changed. For example, there may be questions from budget since the budget is coming up. I think tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So these kind of questions. Apart from that, the questions with respect to any new changes in terms of regulations, in terms of appointments, in terms of these applications that are being built on with new things that are coming up. So mostly the questions will revolve around these things. There will be questions on sports also. It will be mentioned in those current affairs magazines. I think you just need to read 240 to 50 pages for the past 6 months. I think that should be enough. I don't want to uh, say that it is very difficult, but since general awareness is a section where you can actually get maximum marks, so I would recommend you that 250 to 60 pages will not make any difference in terms of your preparation for civil services. It will not derail that thing. So it can be done. So most important sections will be from these economic policies of the government, even government schemes will also come. So I think it will be an upper hand for you guys, since you will be dealing in government schemes and all. Apart from that, like appointments and these agricultural policies also sometimes come, but 2 3 questions only. So you may act accordingly there. Yeah.
All right, Ish, I think we can move on to the next one, right?
Yeah. So phase two preparations you want to know now, or like should we keep a?
Uh, I think we can keep
Yeah.
a separate session, no? Because most of them, this is the preliminary
Because
part,
I think it will
right?
be overwhelming for
Yeah,
all of them since they will be thinking
overwhelming,
about
because,
quantity.
and there may be some confusion also, right? So we can
Correct,
just
sir.
keep it,
Correct, sir.
right? So this is phase one, guys. This
Yeah.
is like prelims of your UPSC exam, right? And the right
Correct.
strategy is very important. You have to be very smart. And I know, Yash, when he was preparing for this, he was juggling both UPSC and RBI, and along with that, he was part of our football group, weekly football group. That was one stress-busting thing that we used to do back then. But the thing is,
Certainly.
yeah, he cleared both RBI as well, and he came very close in clearing the civil services because he had to prepare for interview for UPSC as well, mains for UPSC as well. Right, so he cleared mains, but unfortunately fell short with respect to the interview. But happens. Now he is
Yeah, it
managing the
happens.
monetary policy of the country, right? Or shortly, he's just in the initial phases, and soon he will go there. And I think time gap between phase one and phase two, I think it's given in that notification, right? The advertisement. I think notification will come shortly, right? So
Yeah,
that will be
yeah.
given there. And so don't worry. I think it is in October 19th. So there'll be a month. There'll be a month between phase one and phase two. And how's work-life balance, Yash, as a RBI grade B?
Yeah, I will tell that life at RBI. So if some things are there which can actually motivate you for this job. First of all, I know since we are civil service aspirants, we would want to work at the grassroots. I think that gives us utmost happiness. But in RBI, what we will be dealing with is more at the centralized functioning. So you may not be dealing with the people directly, but your every action will have an impact on the whole of the customers that are dealing with the banks. There are certain meetings we have with chief secretaries also of the state. We will have with the even with the DGPs also. So you will be there in the linkages of how the government will be functioning, and we will be helping out them in whatever we do as RBI. So there is a more of licensing with the government also in many domains. So I would say ki it is a really nice job. It can give you a great exposure of how the government function and the central banks functions. Apart from that, since there are very perks, I think you might be knowing about the perks and all of this exam. I know it is over exaggerated, but I would still say that it is a really well paying out job that we can say. And since it is in the capital of the cities of the major cities in the country, around 28 offices are there. There will be 19 major offices and 8 to 9 small offices will be there. One of the small offices is in Shimla. And the work-life balance is great here. Around 6 p.m. We are just done with the work, and then we can move on to the next one. So you will have your time also here. If there are certain people also, one of my batchmate here also, Shrishti Dabas, she cleared the exam with rank 6. So you may also get the time here if you can actually crack it. And your family, apart from that, I can say that even civil servants may not have initial well-paying job, since they will be earning around 91 lakh rupees if they are very clean. I would recommend that. Apart from that, you can actually get. There are certain things. I think people love
Got
it.
it. Yeah.
So the job is
Yeah, and
really great.
I don't think you'll have to deal with all these politicians and political interference, nothing, right?
Yeah, little bit of meetings are there, but they don't attend those meetings because,
Okay, good,
yeah, we,
good. Right. So I think any further doubts? Otherwise, we'll wrap this very informative session. And Yash, how is the weather in Shimla?
weather is great. Since it is a
Okay.
laptop, I can show
Okay.
you later on. I will
Okay,
message
okay,
you right now.
great. And do come to Bangalore. We'll have a football reunion kind of a thing. Okay, we'll
Sure,
call
yeah,
others.
yeah, sure,
Yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah. Shiv was also telling me, right, that he also wants to come, and we can all have a small mini football reunion.
We will
Uh,
surely have, and I hope
yeah.
that out of these people also we may find some good people
Yeah,
who would want to
yeah,
have some
to
stress
have the
buster
quorum.
activity.
Remember quorum? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Thank you,
right, guys.
Pari sir.
Thanks, Ash.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you guys for
uh,
joining. And if the video has come out well in the recording, I'll put it up online as well. All right. Okay, Ash. Take
yeah,
care. Bye,
yeah.
guys. See you.
Sure. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.